Hey everyone, so I just finished up a workout and I have a really busy day and I want to make curry. So I'm going to modify a recipe that would normally be made on the stovetop to make it on the Instant Pot. So I really hope you enjoy this one. Sometimes cooking with Instant Pot and slow cookers are just something that you need to lean into because its simplicity makes everyday life and busy work-life balance much more possible. So I really hope you enjoy this one. Then let me know in the comments as well what you think after you try it out. So let's get to this one. This recipe will require very basic ingredients. You just need to dice an onion and some garlic, and the rest is pretty much a can, a tin, or already coming pre-packaged. After you've diced your onion and your garlic cloves, I like to gather everything and do the mise en place, basically just putting the spices all together, which come later in the video. Get your Instant Pot ready and set it to the saute setting. Add a teaspoon of olive oil or 2 tablespoons worth of water or veggie broth to fry the onion and garlic in this. Once you add it all into your Instant Pot, the Instant Pot gets hot quickly, so be ready to mix with a spatula. Okay, so all of the veggie scraps that I use, I like to then put into a bowl. I give them a quick rinse. If you really want to rinse them well, you can add a little bit of vinegar in there, especially just plain white vinegar. Rinse them, and then I store them in this huge baggie. I've made a video on this and I will leave it in the description. It's basically to make veggie broth, but let's see here. These little lovely things you can make into veggie broth cubes or literal like veggie bouillon spice, which I've made before, which is like chilling in my fridge. So there it is. We love it. I've made like a short or something on this, but anyway, that's how I save my scraps. Saute your aromatics for 5 to 7 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes, whatever you prefer, until they get nice and brown. I like to add water to deglaze because the saute setting only has one heat setting. It will heat up quickly and start to caramelize your onions, so water works great. We're gonna add curry powder, sweet paprika, cumin, salt, and black pepper as our spices, and I like to use an abundance of spices so the curry is very flavorful. So I added 2 tablespoons of that curry powder, a whole tablespoon of that sweet paprika, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, and a teaspoon of both salt and black pepper. For additional umami, we want to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. You can reduce this if you're watching your salt, but this recipe does yield a high quantity, so it can take the amount of salt. Next, add 2 14-ounce cans or 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. I use regular because any Italian seasonings that are in your diced tomatoes will affect the flavor of the curry. I like to rinse them out with a little bit of water and toss it all back in there. I like to add a 1/4 cup of creamy almond butter in addition to 2 tablespoons worth of apple cider vinegar. You can also use lemon juice in place of the apple cider vinegar. Add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup for additional sweetness. You can use coconut sugar or granulated sugar as well if you have these on hand. Next, you can add a little bit of veggie broth for additional flavorings, but if you're adding water, there really is no need. You can use veggie bouillon. I use a veggie broth cube that I made in the slow cooker. And then for additional luxurious flavor to our curry, we're going to add 1 can of coconut milk. At this stage, you want to use an immersion blender to blend everything, specifically that almond butter. You don't want large chunks of almond butter in your curry. I like to get this to a pretty hot state within the saute setting, and then I add my chickpeas. I'm using cooked chickpeas, but you can definitely use tofu or whatever kind of plant-based protein you want to add. I chose chickpeas because I had them on hand, but like I just previously stated, you can use tofu, you can use tempeh if you really want. This is completely up to you. I like to have my curry really nice and hot when I put my chickpeas in there because it makes the pressure cooking stage really quick and fast, especially if you're in a pinch. I like to add 3 to 4 cups of cooked chickpeas. You can also do this from uncooked chickpeas. You would use about a cup and a half, and pressure cook for a much longer period of time. I chose not to do this because of time's sake, so I recommend using cooked chickpeas or chickpeas that come from a can. You don't want the liquid to exceed the max line on your Instant Pot. If it doesn't, you're good to go. And from here, I like to put on my lid and change those settings. We will change the settings, cancel the saute, and then proceed to pressure cook everything for 15 minutes. It does not need to pressure cook for a very long time. This is mainly to create a luxurious sauce. I then like the Instant Pot to release the gases naturally, or the steam to release naturally. It'll click when it's ready, and the curry is finished. That's all you need to do. I give it a good mix just to make sure that all the flavorings in the curry are to my preference. You can add a little bit of salt, you can add a little bit more lemon juice, lime juice, whatever preferences you have, you can include. I found this curry to be perfect as is and didn't really need any additional flavorings, but it is always important to taste your food and adjust seasonings as you go, either before or after the cooking period. Once your curry is to your preference, it's ready to go. You can serve this curry with beautiful basmati rice, white rice, sushi rice. Of late, I've enjoyed serving curry on a bed of greens. This time I chose a bit of arugula, but you can use spinach, spring mix. It provides a healthier, lighter meal if that's something that you're looking forward to. It also is slightly healthier because you have lots of greens, but grains would be lovely too. As always, if you like this content, everyone, be sure to subscribe to the channel where I post every single Friday my full recipe videos, and I post daily shorts about fitness, PhD content, and other recipes every single day. I hope you really enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next week. Take care.